Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wednesday night. Wild Bill, what up, man? I missed the Monday show. I was out of town, man. Out of town. Kelly will be here in a little bit. And I'm 3D printing. What's on your printer? That's going to be. Thank you for that. All right, let's check this out for a minute. Live with Kelly and Reach.
Kelly and Reach. What's going on, everybody?
What up?
What's rolling tonight?
KW79 in the house, Wild Bill. Let's go.
What is on the kitchen counter weekly?
And what is, yeah. Yeah, there's a, don't call it a build off. I don't know if you saw the title today. Don't call it a build off.
Do not call it a build off. I think I'm a little built ahead of you.
You were to begin with.
Got some paint on this thing. Got the floor kind of somewhat figured out in the front.
I'm printing it still.
Yeah. I think you told me you're having some issues with the prints.
A little bit. Partly my own fault. And then hot trash also.
Hot trash.
A little bit.
See, I didn't have any issues like what you're saying you are, so
we have to try that where after you do the repair, I'm curious if you can create an STL and then let me see it. But I think yours probably looks like mine does. It just maybe doesn't bother you the same.
No, dude, it did not have that seam at all on it.
That big gap?
Nope, not at all. Not at all. Here, dude, check this out. I'll show it off to everybody.
Show it off. Deadbolt 2.0.
Big old deadbolt.
It looks good. It
coming along.
You know what? It's funny to me, but I thought of this earlier when we were talking briefly. Like, this feels like a dynam. Like, it feels like a dynam. Where putting it together, it's like, what a piece of garbage trash. And then when you're done and it actually flies, it's like pretty cool.
Yeah, so, dude, at first I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this or not. But now since I got paint on it, and I wound up using the bench seat from the 1950 whatever it is Chevy pickup truck, because the truck I'm replicating, you guys all saw the picture last week. It's got a bench seat in it. So, but I did print off the 2 bucket seats that came with the files, so you can have those if you absolutely want them. But the bench seat, dude, it covers up a lot of
The big
A lot
seat
of the
looked
bits.
really good to me in there. And it hides so much that honestly, you don't need to do any floor except behind it.
Exactly.
If that, right?
Just got a little bit between the firewall and the bench seat to try and cover up, and then the back.
And,
Which the back of this is going to be a nightmare. Sorry, my dog's barking.
And this is a big truck, man. Another 6 scale. This one's big. Kelly's doing roll cage on his. I'm printing the box back on mine. And I've got this 2 doors and part of the top done. And I have a lot of finish work to do on this one. I may try to buy that. Have you seen that little orbital that they're selling every now and then? You see it on Facebook or Instagram that's supposed to be for us, by us, Boo-Boo.
No. Nope.
It's just a little tiny pin-looking orbital with a couple different attachments, which might be kind of nice.
That probably would be super nice. Even those little sticks with the sanding pieces on the end, dude, those come in handy for tight little spots.
They're great, but I need some flat stuff also.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I'm gonna fill it, but dude, I'm trying to decide. I mean, it's not like it's finish filling, right? So it's not the end of the world if I try to knock down some of the lines first. However, I have noticed a time or two, if you clean and you wet sand, the dust becomes mud, so to say, instead of dust, and doesn't necessarily come out of all the cracks. And so I've had paint chip in spots where I maybe didn't get it cleaned out good enough.
Yep.
And
Same
so
here.
I'm wondering if, I could fill first before I knock down the lines, but part of me feels like it sticks better if I rough it up.
Yeah, for sure. This primer I used, this 2-in-1 primer, I actually really liked it. It gave a really nice kind of semi-rough finish. I lightly sanded it just a little bit and tossed this paint on. Didn't have any runs, didn't have any issues. It was worked slick. But I agree. I've done that same thing, Ryan, where you get some of this sanding dust caught someplace and then it falls out later. It
falls out later when you're all done and painted.
Yeah. Yep.
I only had it happen to me around a window or like a door handle or something.
Yep. Yeah,
but this one, man, I got a lot to do to it. Because sometimes all I have to really mess with is like the glue joint. But this, you had the same kind of faceting is what I like to call it.
Yep.
That, see those lines, not the print lines, but the way it takes the radius and everything.
Yep.
I'm not living with that, bro. Which means I'm going to be sanding my face off.
Just sand those lightly with like a fairly aggressive grit. Yeah, no, I had the same thing. But I sanded with a fairly aggressive grit paper, like 120, whatever, and just sanded on those lines to get rid of majority of it, and then just put that Bondo paste on there, and it'll be virtually like non-existent.
One of my problems when I spread product is I spread it like this is one that I need to spread it thicker.
Yep.
Because I really do thin a lot of times, which is taking out too much. Let me post that. I need to try that. I've just been using rattle cans and a combination of things, but I've heard good things about that.
Yeah, good to see you, KW79. Thanks for jumping in. He actually
working on that big. Do you see it?
Yeah,
I think
did.
It's a big old toy. Isn't it a big old
It's a
Toyota
Tacoma.
or something?
It's a Tacoma, isn't it? Yeah, that thing's a beast.
That's a modern one, man. A lot of complexity in that front end and stuff. It looked good though.
Yeah, the fidelity of the print looks fantastic. You can tell
good.
He's been at. What did you say last week? You've been at it for 5 years, so it shows. It looked really good. Looked really good.
I gotta try some of that paint. I need to just somebody send me a link to it on Amazon or something.
So that primer, that automotive, I'm sorry, Bondo, that's what I used on the bug truck on the front fenders. Remember I told you it gets super hard.
You did the real stuff, not the paste.
Yeah, the real stuff. Yeah, and it got super hard, and it took a bit to sand it because you know how I am. I use a rubber glove and just smear it on.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, it was great. Way better than that Bondo paste. It's good for the filler, lines on the print stuff, but not for big stuff like that. So I agree, KW79, 100%. It's good stuff.
I need to try some of that real Bondo. I definitely am going to have some of the JB Weld going on this one. For those bottom of the doors I talked about where, bro, I'll show you.
Dude, after I talked to you on the phone earlier about that, I had almost forgotten that when I was taking the supports off from, it would have been the driver's side center section at that door line. I was ripping stuff off and it broke off right down underneath where. Yeah, it's thin mint, man. Yeah, you can see right through it. But mine broke off just like an 1.5 inch section by probably 1/2 inch tall. And I wound up just cutting a piece of plastic from something else, glued it in, and left me a little bit of room to put Bondo paste on the top of it. And I Bondoed that thing, and you can't even tell it's even there.
Nice. It looks like there's tracks for the windows.
Oh, yeah. Those are gone on mine. I filled them.
Yeah, I'll work it out, but I've had a time. I think these are interesting. What's that for?
Those rough little bits, I have no idea.
You know what I like them for? Alignment. A little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what those are for. Hey, RC Car Garage, what's happening, man? Good to see you.
I'm going to use them to kind of tack weld, and then I'll tweak it.
Absolutely.
From there.
Absolutely.
Once this thing's all put together, though, I think it's going to be a pretty strong one. But I just know I'm going to work my butt off on that faceted stuff there. But apparently, I tell you, the more I do this, the more I see of other stuff out there, and some stuff that's like commercially, available, that's got lines all over it, and I'm like, wow, I guess I'm aiming too high. I don't know if that's even possible, but I have an interesting thing to talk about too, for those who are just getting into it. The difference between some of the supports you'd use, right?
Right.
So
yeah, since you mentioned about using the tree supports, bro, I need to start looking at that a little more often.
It's worth it the software, mine does, and probably yours too, where you can literally see when you preview it what it's going to be. So interesting that one of these pieces here, this is my benchmark because I'm still in the middle of the rest of it, but one of these pieces here I did regular standard supports, and the other one I did trees.
Yep.
Hold on, because I got a visual representation as well. It's
Hey Jeff and Laura, how are you doing, man?
So one I used trees.
Yep.
And one I used
the standard
regular way.
Yep.
This piece cost me $15 to print that half of the hood. And I actually wrote it down. Because I thought it was interesting. Not only did I say, now it's not always this way, but I thought it was super interesting. So 11 hours and 38 minutes on this one. And it cost me $14.36, 574 grams of material.
Yep.
And then 11 hours, 38 minutes. And then the tree version took me only 8 hours, 54 minutes. So 9 hours. Basically saved me almost 3 hours. It cost $7.93 instead of $14.36.
Wow.
And 317 and a half grams instead of 574. Saved a ton of time and saved a ton of
filament. Yep.
Now, I will run it through. A couple prints I tried to do the other day. The one I'm doing right now, which is the other version, the twin of this.
Yep.
I tried to do trees on it because it was going to save me time and money, but it would not work out. Like this kept peeling off the plate. It just didn't matter, brim or whatever. It just was not working out. And so I went with the regular supports because I had to after a couple fails. And I wanted to print it like this. So I did. So that's what's the other half of this is what's on there now.
Yep.
And I've got 4 more sections after that, at least, to finish out the back, because all I have is not even, a whole. All right, I can trash this now. I really want to figure out a way to recycle that stuff because it hurts my feelings. I'd like to reuse it.
Ty actually sent something to me. I don't know if you saw it. It was some type of a recycler thing for the.
I think I've seen it, and that thing doesn't even exist yet. It's just. It's like a. What do they call that? A jump starter or something. It doesn't even exist yet in real life. They're just trying to raise money for it.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
So KW79 is throwing out some really good ideas here and sharing some good information. Appreciate it.
Yes.
So how do you finish your bodies and get rid of the print lines? Do you use the UV and the resin, or what do you use? Curious.
Dude, I'm pretty pumped to see this with a box on it.
That's gonna be sweet that you're doing the one with the box and I'm doing the one that's open. It's cool. I'm shocked you didn't start with the back end.
Well, I wanted to know what I was getting into. And there's nothing more honest than the garbage trash you see on the front fenders and the hood.
But you know what, Ryan? I mean,
look at that triangle dent already in it.
Oh, that's easy.
I know, but they're everywhere.
Dude, you think that's garbage trash, man? Print out that Volkswagen Beetle I have.
No.
Holy smokes,
I
man.
refuse. I never wanted anything to do with that.
Dude, I can't believe I got the bug truck, the black one. I can't believe I got the hood as smooth as I did on that one. But we're razzing each other just like I see Matt and Josh over there. Matt's giving Josh a hard time about his big tractor. Did you see that?
No, but that's how they roll.
Oh my gosh, man. Matt's like, what a piece of
I haven't, since we moved to Wednesday, I haven't seen I see their videos, but not their stream.
I catch it before we jump on here.
Do you?
For a little bit. Yeah.
That's cool.
Wild Bill. What chassis is going under these? Yeah. Another SCX6 situation.
SCX6, bro. And I'm kind of sort of also doing my Tremors truck. I actually might take the red body off the Travelall tonight. I wouldn't mind seeing that Tremors truck on a chassis. This thing's still got a ways to go. I ordered 4 more rolls of filament today because I just ordered 4 and I'm on my last one.
Dude, my little Amazon Echo the other day, she was like, it might be time to reorder based off your order history. I'm like, shut up. Shut up.
See, man, I showed you this in pictures, but like, guys, this is the kind of stuff I start with sometimes.
That's ugly. You know what? If I were you, I would stop printing that top right now and just go with the open air.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I got half of mine to get those stir sticks for coffee, the little wood ones.
Yeah.
And glue it on, bro. Like, it's already smooth.
Honestly, Ryan, I got to tell you, man, you're better off. I would get some of that automotive Bondo, that 2-part with the epoxy, and mix a little bit of that up and put that on there. That'd be way better than using Bondo paste or anything else.
I don't want to mix if I don't have to.
It's so easy.
Well, so is the JB Weld stuff I use, but it's an absolute mess.
Yeah, nah, I'd use the 2-part Bondo.
I bet that paste would be fine.
Give it to me, man. I'll put 1.5 gallons of Bondo on that for you.
No way. Not unless you're sanding it too. Thin to win for me. But yeah, this needs some serious. I mean, this is a good call for a lot of times. I have been using the UV resin on stuff like this, but dude, I gotta form it up to pour it in.
You got a lot of work there.
I just may use regular epoxy. It dries faster than that UV resin does. Shit.
Yeah, but the problem is with regular epoxy, it you know, you get it in the sun, it starts getting hard, and with all the flexing that these things are doing, it probably wouldn't even stick to the plastic.
You don't think so?
Probably not.
Plastic on plastic.
Probably
I'll
not.
just use hot glue then. Screw it.
There you go. You could always do that. What I should do?
I just know I'm going to be forever on this one. If I make it look like my other stuff, this is going to be a big one. Big job.
It's going to take some time for sure. But like mine, bro, it's like I can see a couple of these lines that you're talking about at the top on mine, but not very much. So probably this weekend, I'll probably get time to wet sand this thing and let it sit. And then I'm going to spray it again with paint and see what it looks like. And I may wind up having to wet sand it yet one more time. But I want to go for a high gloss look on this because I want it to look like what, you know, that truck is that I showed you guys.
So I think you and I are masochists in different ways. Like, there's no way in hell I would go gloss on any of these. Let alone one that's giving me the facets. I can't stand it.
Give me high gloss.
I know I'm going to sand so much, I'll be into the waffle. I'll be into the infill. I guarantee it on this. I'm going to be into the infill, and then I'll be filling it also. Where I expose it.
Dude, you should. I forgot that Francis said that, I think last week, the CA and baking soda.
I think it's fine for, I don't think it's maybe finish material, but it fills gaps, I think, okay. I've seen a ton of it on short form social, baking soda and CA. I just don't know how workable that would be. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, why not just CA and skip it? At least the CA will lay, you know, depending on what you do, it could almost lay flat for you.
Yeah, and how deep is that? It's not real deep, is it?
Bro, it's, well, the top part here. So I ripped some off because I thought it was supports. See that top piece still on?
Yep.
Which is trash already, which is why I thought it was support.
Dude, bro, that's gonna be a pain in the A to fill that, because then you gotta go back and clean up that line that's in between there.
Nah, I'll mask it off. Or I'll stuff a wire in there.
Oh.
And pull it out.
If you're gonna do that, then you know what? Maybe just use that Bondo paste and be done with it for that.
I'm not mixing two-part if I don't have to.
No, the Bondo paste.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's going to be Bondo paste.
Just fill it and let it sit for 24 hours. It'll dry.
I'll probably do. I might do a little CA too first, just to give it something else.
Right. Yeah. Also, KW79. That's correct. Ryan's running Bamboo and I'm running Creality. Yep.
Hey, that reminds me. So I was buying filament and I bought last round, I bought 4 rolls. I got 2 of the Creality ones and 2 of the Elegoo. I can get the Creality PLA. I like the plastic reels because the way my AMS feeds, I really don't want the cardboard.
Yep.
If I can help it.
Yep.
And I kind of like, I thought I did these different. I thought one of these was one and one was the other. Hold on a minute. Yeah, I think they're different. I can't remember what's what though, but I'll be able to tell because right now I'm on the cardboard Elegoo. Yeah. So this darker one here is the Ender that I got 2 rolls for $29.
It's about right.
Twice. And I'll see what I think about it. You know what I mean? Yep. But I do like how it was on the plastic spool.
Yeah, I mean, you got to use what you like best, you know.
And I love how quick the Amazon stuff comes. Last time I ordered it, it was here the next day.
I know, isn't it great?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe ordering some more filament myself. I had 5 rolls when I started this project, and I got basically 3/4 of one left. And it sucks because I printed out the whole floorboard, the back end and the front, because, you know, I don't use license plates and other crap. So I decided, you know, I was like, I'm going to print this out and see what it is. And
yeah.
You know, I wound up cutting 3/4 of it out and tossing it, you know, because I didn't need it.
We need to make a template for the cutouts.
Yeah, usually what I do is I just stand whatever the prototype is. I just sit it in front of me, and I take the parts and bring them into that mesh mixer, and I just go in and start cutting pieces out and basically make it look proportionally right.
It is kind of nice actually having the body, because you can see where the beginning and the end is, and take true, measurements. But I think the basic shape, we know, it's just where at, forward or aft.
Exactly. That's why I mocked this thing up. I've got the seat sitting in there. I've got and it's all held in with duct tape right now at the moment. But I had to do that so I could figure out what I needed to cut out of this floorboard. This one here's kind of been a trick compared to the other ones. And you got to piece it together and figure out what works and what doesn't. But this one here it's a trick. And the other thing is,
what was tricky about it?
Just this one here's like it's almost like it's tighter space inside the cab on the floor. It's tighter. Everything is much smaller and tighter.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to figure out, set everything all together, put it all together, set it on top of the truck, get up underneath there with a flashlight and the phone, take pictures, whatever, trying to figure out, where do I need to start at? Where do I cut? How do I take the least amount of material out of it, still make it look good, but making it, functionable?
Right. And if this one's sitting down on the rock rails, it's lower than some of the other ones you maybe have done.
Yep.
So the openings are bigger to accommodate shock towers and transmissions and stuff like that. But what looked really cool, and what you said, was your bent seat basically covers up the second speed servo.
Yep.
So from there back is that all you have to worry about then on the floor?
Yes.
Basically. So from that servo back, so shock towers and drive shaft is kind of the only thing in the way, or what?
Shock towers. That's it. Yep.
Hi, what up, man? Welcome to Regis and Kelly.
What?
You're right, sir. That's Ed McMahon, but we talk the same. Reg.
Phil.
Dude,
yeah, man. So
it's so hot to trot right now. He started a real flight last night. Since I missed Mondays, I hopped in.
Nice.
Pro tip. I could tell he was talking about the chase cam and he wasn't able to get it to work out. Chase cam does not work on photo generated fields, only the cartoon computer generated ones. So we were flying at legit Eli Field and some other like grass, like photo fields. And so we were all flying fixed position. You're not able to do the chase unless you're in a cartoon, Joe's Garage or one of those type fields. And at that point, then yes, you can throw the chase on, which is kind of nice, especially for streaming it and beginners. I remember when I was new to real flight, Dad and I were both on chase for quite a while before we were like, all right, the novelty's wearing off. Now let's use this really as the tool and fly from fixed position. And that was like real flight 3. And we were on a tiny, machine. So fixed position was definitely a challenge when you're new, but it is a good way to practice it once you get just you do learn a ton of muscle memory in chase mode, even though you're never going to really fly that way. Totally cool to see Ty working it out. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it looks like he was doing pretty good yesterday. I watched a little bit of it. I was going to bump in there, but I was like, I don't know what it's called, what the password is, and anything. So I just said, okay, I'll wait and do it another day.
This is for you.
Crowley Slicer. No, I'm not. I'm still running 6.0, I think is what I'm on. I know it's been asking me to do the update, but I haven't done it yet. I hate doing updates because then it messes stuff up.
I'm a little bit, if it's not broke, I'm not fixing it. I think I finally did the update though. Again, I've updated this thing twice, I think, or maybe just once. I can't remember if I finally gave up and went ahead and did it. I'm about to have to recalibrate it because I want to move it again. I want to get this scale garage going, dude. I need to start printing off some stuff that doesn't cost me $1 million for a minute. Little dumpsters and junk.
Nice. I know. It's
Yeah.
like the other day, Bree was like, hey, your little like rack that I bought you to put all these bodies on is kind of full. I'm like, yep. Dude, these big bodies are taking up a lot of space.
Yeah, start putting them under the floorboards, bro.
I'm gonna start hiding them underneath the bed, man. Holy crap.
Here's another question for you. It's on the screen, dog.
Yeah. That is, I'm using two, an Ender V3 KE, and then the other one is the K1 Max. Because I think he mentioned last week that he's got a K1 Max, and I think you said you got a K2 as well. These guys are having a good time tonight in the chat.
Good. So
yeah.
I think we unofficially a little bit answered I think it's two questions. What's on the printer and what's on the bench? Same as last week.
What's on the kitchen
Don't call
counter?
it a build off. Don't call it a build off.
We can't do it on this one.
I don't know if we can. Period. Too different.
I
think we need to build a kit.
Yeah. We could do that. We could do that for sure.
I think there's some full chassis and all type things that could be printed off of Imagine, which would be maybe interesting.
I've never downloaded anything off of Imagine.
I've poked around a little bit. It's apparently all RC.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff that's like chassis and all. And that new group, what's it called? RC 3D printed RC.
Yeah.
That's a pretty active group.
Yeah,
there's cool stuff on there all the time.
Yeah. I'm enjoying some of that stuff.
Me in that one post.
Yeah, I saw that, joined it, and I'm like, you know what? I need to get Ryan on this one. Dude, you know what? This stinking dash is so bare minimum, which I'm not complaining. Good. It's just there's just not really much of anything there.
That's where we need the Cricut for decals.
Yeah, I'm off to. It would be nice to have a Cricut for sure.
Speaking of,
you bought.
I gotta sell something. I gotta sell some stuff.
Are you selling airplanes at the Pot of Gold show?
Yeah, that's still a ways off, but yeah.
I need to take some airplanes there too. I need to make room for these bodies.
I'm gonna sell my Red Cat Gen 8 Scout that's got all the brass on it and Spectrum brushless in it. I probably don't have any reason to keep my Traxxas TRX4 Land Rover anymore. That's got dope tires on it and the light package. Maybe I'll show them in a minute. I just want to buy some more stuff, bro. That's what it is. I never drive the Phoenix, but like I don't want to get rid of it.
Yeah, that would be a hard one to get rid of.
The TRX4 Bronco 2021 is no longer available because I'm making a Unimog.
So KW79, he said the 6.1 has some really good new options like ironing option. Yeah, I need to try that. So I'll have to upgrade to 6.1 because I've heard a lot of good things about that ironing option.
And bro, here's the interesting thing. I'll be honest. Like, yo, I'm so spoiled with the Bamboo because it's just done it for me. So Ty, I totally will. The Bamboo is for me, it just made me hit the ground running, feel pretty strong. I'm going with whatever settings are in it. Like, so it depends sometimes where I get the files, if there's already the G codes, if they come in with it or whatnot. And like in particular with the Night Custom stuff, whenever I pull in one of those files again, there's two ways I can do it. With the G codes for Bamboo, which is how he sets them up, or the raw like STL, where I get to orient it and size it up and things like that. I could have turned ironing off by mistake. Like something so silly like that. I could have just accidentally unchecked. And now that's why I'm getting this stuff that drives me crazy. But I also think it's partly just what it was to begin with as well. I think there's a little bit of both. Like you said, he's been doing this 5 years. I don't think either one of us have been doing this a year yet. Maybe you.
Yeah, I think it was about a year ago that I gave you the box of parts for the Land Rover. So it's been a year.
Right. And then I didn't get a printer for definitely some time after that.
Yep.
Bamboo, dude. For me, Shay, I like it. It's what I got experience with. But honestly, like I've said before, whatever you can get your hands on to get in the game, I think is what's up. And considering some of the stories I've heard from the old timers that have been in 3D printing a long time, it's better now from everyone than it used to be. Man, I don't it does it. The bed level, whatever. It's Wi-Fi. I'm not messing with SD card, nothing. It's
dude, they make them so user friendly now, you know. It's so easy. Everybody should be doing it. But yeah, I agree with Ty, man. The build off should be two different vehicles, completely different formats.
Well, I get it. And I think, I mean, honestly, the way we approach it anyway, like we're both doing scouts. Yours is open air, al fresco. Mine is not. Mine will be el rusto after a highly exorbitant amount of finish work to make it look old. I don't know why.
Right.
Bit of a masochist. Bamboo has changed everything about Ty's RC experience, in his opinion, for sure. Yeah, dude, I got fortunate, wrote a letter. They wrote me back, and the Bamboo worked out for me. But they had me sold on the plug and play aspect. But the more I've learned, the more I realize a lot of these companies are offering that same user-friendly operation. So whatever, man, it takes. I got an affiliate with them, and so it's in the description. If you're shopping printers, check out my Bamboo link or whatever. But I would use whatever anybody sends me, brother. I'm telling you.
I kind of see the Bamboo lineup like the Apple lineup, you know, everything kind of all just.
I'm an Apple guy, man.
Together,
it works for me.
Well, I am too, you know, absolutely.
Shay, this is Kelly Klein, airplane guy who I converted to the dark side. One of the first and most vocal guys who would bitch whenever I started talking about cars on my airplane show years ago.
Yep. And here I am.
Now, so that was my fault, and now this whole 3D printing thing is his fault. So thank Kelly, guys.
Here I am.
If it wasn't for 3D printing, I'm not sure y'all would see me anymore.
Howdy, Shay. Good to see you, man.
I'll be hiding out.
Yeah.
And I went to the racetrack. I raced last weekend. You got to come out, bro, with us. I raced 3 classes: short course, 2-wheel drive, 10 scale, e-buggy, 8 scale, e-truggy, 8 scale. I raced 3 classes last Saturday before I went to Tennessee. I've been gone till last night. Yeah, man.
That's why I almost got this truck done. You don't.
That's true. Yeah, Francis, 3D printing is only going to get better. Do you have a Maker Lab page? This is a funny one because we get asked how many times, man, on Facebook or on our videos are we getting asked about these files? And
quite a bit.
They exist. They're out there. You just have to look. The only thing we're doing is taking pre-existing files and stretching them to our desire, scaling them up.
That or marrying 2 different files together to create something weird.
You need to do a dedicated video on how you do your wheelbase, brother.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
And then give it to me and I'll post. I'm kidding. And then
yeah, I can definitely do that. It's so easy to do.
Because I wonder if so many people have asked us. I mean, it's like, I'm not trying to be funny, but like in RC, so many answers are literally in the manual or if you Google it. And I think with these bodies, if you're willing to do a little trial and error, you can make it happen. But I think so many people want to see somebody do it first and really have a definite idea of what they're doing before they have the audacity or confidence to actually jump in and do it. Should we post, even though they're other people's files, like should we post up our slices, our sizes?
I've been tempted to. I just don't. I always feel like if somebody wants to know, like what size I printed this out, I don't get asked that. You know, they don't ask what the scale or what the percentage.
No, they ask for the files.
They ask for the files, or they ask if I want to buy one. Where do I buy one? And but nobody really has asked about, hey, I want to print this out. What scale did you print that out at? So it's not a big question. But being able to, just throw a quick video on YouTube of how I get to where I'm at, or, Ryan, will ask me once in a while, hey, just verify this. Yep.
Dude, there. I'm not stupid. You've already done it.
Right. So it's
bro, when we text, I screenshot it. So my Scout is actually just a tiny bit bigger than yours.
Yep. Yeah, you said what? About 5 points bigger?
Yes.
5%
so
bigger?
Your measurements scale is 203.54 and then 171.9. And you landed on 208.35 and 176.9. So we basically added 5% percentages
to the overall size. Yep. And again, like anybody that's on here that we're talking about these Scouts, I did mine 203.54 for the 19.5-inch wheelbase, but I didn't want it to proportionally be really wide because I wanted my tires to stick out. So I actually went smaller on the Y and the Z axis and had to make them the same so that my headlight rounds and the taillight rounds and everything was all, circular and correct. But so this one here is a little shorter than what it should be and a little bit narrower than what it should be. And I like it.
Yeah. And Kelly's done it on the show here before and stuff. And I like the way he does it. But I essentially do, I like the way he does it better for showing other people. But center of the arches, play with the scale. And you're not going to print the test plug. So like the test body, where he's chopping off the rear at the center of the arch and the front at the center of the arch. And so you've got this middle most of the vehicle and you get the dimensions that way. And so after that, you scale that to whatever wheelbase the thing is you're making. And it seems at this point, it seems like easy to us, but if you've not done it, and it sounds like KW79, he says, I asked you that and I already had the file printed in 8 scale. And I had no idea until I watched your live last week. I don't think I've been able to print anything off at 100% except the Unimog that was made for the Traxxas TRX4 and the CJ7 interior bits and driver that I did from Night Customs.
Do you want me to grab my external monitor real quick and hook it up? It'd take me 2 seconds to do. Yeah. And I could pull Mesh Mixer up and show this one more time on here on how I get to where I'm at.
It's up to you, brother.
Wouldn't take long. Let me grab it real quick.
Do it, man. While he's doing that, I'm gonna take this red body Travelall off of my Honcho chassis. 4 body pins and 1 servo lead. That's all it is. And then I'm going to put my Tremors truck on it. That's what I'm going to do. Pretty pumped about the Scout, though. Gotta tell you. This big monster over here. Oh my gosh, it's so heavy. I hate to take it off the wheels, to be honest. A little bit. But it's time to get to work on the new one. Stock body clips. And dirt. Big Red. Better move this coffee, dudes. So Big Red is the first one that I actually did on an SCX6. And when I was trying to figure out how I wanted to mount it up, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. So I stole the interior out of my Wrangler, and that's how I did it. So I have the front body pin radiator deal screwed and glued into a piece of wood in between the inner fenders. And I used a big piece of 1x to rigify the back pins that would have mounted on the Lexan body and the interior shell. So it's screwed to the interior shell and this piece of wood that I scroll cut to fit the inside of the contour of this body. It looks super janky, but I got it done, and it's fairly sound. Now the problem is, where do you put that stinking body? So I will have to take these inner fenders off to be able to fit the body for the Tremors truck. Kelly's ready. Okay, cool. Yep, I'm gonna have to take those off. But we get a little bit of a look. That's gonna be all right. So we're gonna get Kelly on, and I'm gonna mess with these inner fenders, I think. Let's bring Kelly back. I'm throwing you on solo. Let's go.
Let's roll. I'm ready.
There it is.
All right. So this is a program called Mesh Mixer. It's by Autodesk. There's a lot of people that don't care for Autodesk stuff, but I don't mind this. As far as me finding scale on a vehicle, this is the Chevy 3100 pickup main body. And this is setting basically at the 1/8 scale, how I pulled it in from the file. So what I do is I'll go, you can't see this. I'm gonna turn a little bit. I'll go over here to my edit button, and I'm gonna go do what they call a plane cut. And so what this is going to do is allow me to turn this, and I'm going to rotate this to 90 degrees to give myself a 90-degree plane cut. Back this up so you can kind of see everything. And there's an arrow. It's kind of hard to see right here, and I'll explain that in a second. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this guy over, and like what Ryan was saying, I'm basically going to visualize where I want the center point where my axle is going to sit underneath this body. And now with this kind of darkish blue arrow pointing at everything that's behind me. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this different. Told you, I'm going to go to the back. I'm going to get rid of everything that is gray, dark gray here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say cut, discard half, accept, and that takes and chops off and gets rid of that portion of that part of the bed and the truck body itself. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in and I'm going to do another plane cut. And now this time I'm going to rotate the opposite way, and we're going to go to 90. And then I'm going to come forward now with the front portion of this and the dark gray that we're going to get rid of. So I'm just going to figure out, okay, I'm going to put my axle there, and we're going to cut and discard that, accept. So now this gives me my scale of wheelbase, and how I do it is I'll actually take and I'll export this, and we'll just save it as wheelbase test. So now what I'm going to do is I save that to my hard drive or to my desktop. We're going to collapse that, There's my Land Rover. I'm going to go grab this file, and then I'm going to open up my Creality software. Give me a second. Delete what's on the bed. I'm going to drag this guy over to the other screen. My computer's running kind of slow. There we go. And what I'm going to do is that file I just saved onto the desktop, I'm going to drag that over. And so there it is. So what I'm going to do now is basically go to the scale, and I believe for the 19.5-inch wheelbase, that is 495.3. So I'll put that in on the y-axis.
134, I think, is somewhere around where we ended up.
Well, I had to turn on my uniform. You got to make sure your uniform scale button is on. And so 495.3 is 19.5-inch wheelbase. So there is the truck as if it would be sitting on the actual SCX6 chassis. So what this does is once I put that in here, and now it gives me my percentage of scale. So the 134.68 is the correct scale, percentage of scale that I will use for every piece that I either chunk out and have so it fits on my printer bed. So everything will be now 134.68. If I do door handles, they're going to be 134.68. If I'm just doing the fender pieces by themselves as it comes, it would be the 134.68. And this is based off of the 1/8 scale files from that pickup truck that we had purchased. So that is how I find my percentage of scale. So if there's any questions, fire away.
Awesome.
Hey, there's Fred Barron in the house.
I already got
I'm gonna bring my camera back
off, bro, already. While you were doing that.
Yeah, sweet.
I need those on the travel all. I have to have those to support part of that.
Support that rig.
That interior sets right on it.
Nice. Anyway, so I hope that made sense for everybody. You can go back and watch this again that little bit, but it's pretty simple to do. Go download Mesh Mixer. It's a great little program to use for certain things like that, and cut those that body off where you want that axle to sit at. Pull it into your slicing program, and boom, you can have your scale in no time.
All right, Carolina squat. I got to get rid of this bumper too.
What do you, dude? That thing looks so good.
It's gonna be cool, man. It's gonna be cool. And I've been excited. I've been waiting for the show to get this undone, so I could mock it up. And this is the Wrangler bumper on the Honcho chassis, Honcho side rails, but I put the Wrangler inner fenders on it. Mix and match, whatever it takes.
Why not?
Whatever it takes, man.
Heck yeah.
3 millimeter hex on the bumper bits. And we can mock up this Tremors, big Tremors. I'm going to keep these same tires on it.
I would. I love my Mickey Thompsons, but I got to tell you, the BFs do good, certain conditions.
I like them because they're small. The BF.
Yeah. Yep. And they're scale looking. It's a good tire.
Until they make Patagonias this size, which I don't see happening. I'm not doing nothing.
You are a Patagonia guy.
I may try, like I said, those smaller Relarlo tires.
Yeah, we need to find a body that fits for using those small tires like that.
The Chevy, bro. Then you wouldn't have to cut the arches.
Well, that's true, but the damn thing sits up so high.
Yeah.
KW79. I'm just going back looking at comments here. Let's see. Have a 70 Blazer body.
I have not cut at all, but this sits on the arch pretty good. I did widen the honcho rails out so I can tuck those back in on this one.
Sweet.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, that thing is going to be awesome. Yeah.
That's not right where it goes, but the wheelbase is dead on.
You're welcome.
The wheelbase was dead on, and when I redid this back piece, I went off of that measurement.
So see, you got lucky like I did. So you did that back bed is a different bed. So when I did the scale check on that, the whatever bed I had must have been pretty close to what that is.
Yeah,
must have been really close.
That's how I did it.
Because what truck was it that I did that I screwed up? Oh, it was the black bug truck. I didn't take into account for the 3/4 of an inch of sliver of the back of the Chevy cab that I married up to that Beetle cab. And dude, I could have failed miserably on that.
Bro,
and somehow
this is how lucky. It's going to be.
Dude, that's going to look sick.
And the front comes up a little, but that's basically it on the bed.
Looks awesome.
And then those triangles will get filled in. It won't look so crazy.
Yep.
But
yeah. You better hang the Scout up and just finish that.
Well, they're both going to get worked on this chassis, so nice.
They all happen one at a time.
Bro, and this thing, same deal. Shock Tower Deluxe.
Yeah, no kidding.
But now that I'm looking at it, if I do the floor, see these square standoffs here?
Yep. I know you said it last week. You were thinking
I'll do the floor. There. There's two. I'll set it right on it.
Yep.
And then the cutouts for the shock towers are going to only have to be, this is cool, that much. Not all the way down, that much.
Yep.
Which means I get to keep so much more floor, bro.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Bro, I was thinking about doing that with the Blazer. I'm looking at it right, or not the Blazer, but the Scout. I'm looking at it right now. You know those step ups in the back in the bed on each side? They're like little seats.
Yeah.
I could almost go there and almost not have to come up a half inch to get over the shock tower. But I kind of like that detail though. I want to kind of keep that.
That seat on the side.
Yeah.
That looks super cool.
Yeah, I want to keep that.
I would try to keep it too, even if that's all that's left. You know?
Yep.
Even if those stinking seats are all that's left. Dude, I always put my screws back in because I know where they're at.
Did you see KW's comment? That looks awesome. You guys are going to make me buy another SCX6 just to print more stuff.
Let's go. Links in the Discord, dog.
Yeah. I think Kirk's got 2, you got 2, and I got 2 now.
That's right.
Yep.
It's just obnoxious to have another one, but I want another one.
Why wouldn't you? They're just cool trucks. They're great chassis.
But like what? I want another one so I don't have to take the bumper off and the inner fenders. It's like 5 screws.
But see, bro, it would be nice to have them set up differently, but I like them being the same, so that way then my body's all interchange.
Well, my thing was this. The Travelall was the first one I had done. I didn't like the wheelbase, but I wasn't going to reprint all that because I went through hell to get it done.
Right.
And so I spun out the links.
Yep.
And then I didn't like the Chevy, and I spun them in on that one.
Yep.
So I got 490. You have 495, and I got 507. Stock is 501.
Yep.
So.
Yep. But it's weird though, Ryan. That's why I was saying I want to ask Pete about this. Speaking of which, I haven't talked to him for a couple weeks. One side is like on mine when they first come out of the box, they were different. The wheelbase was different. It was off by a quarter inch or a half inch.
Crazy.
Both of them were the exact same way.
Really? But the links were spun out the same.
No. Because I wound up spinning those links in to bring the one side down to match the other one.
Gotcha.
So it's just kind of weird.
It is kind of weird. On two of them.
Yeah, I thought it was just something, just a weird fluke
when
thing.
I measure, because you said that, when I measured mine, I make sure I measure when I'm comparing them. I measure both left sides or both right sides.
Yep.
So I could be in the same boat as you. I don't know. But
yeah, you need to measure them because I bet they're different. Which is weird. Fine. Measure them. KWRC, did you see my my Blazer or my Scout that I got together? I might have to show it again.
It is different.
I told you it would be different. I'm sorry, I'm showing off my Scout again.
Do it. Yeah, like 501, 502, and 507 on the other side.
I wish I could get like a picture of the front end of this thing, dude. It's so stinking awesome.
The grill makes those.
Dude, I gotta see if I'm gonna turn this thing. See if I can get homeboy to fall down.
Come on.
Yeah.
Bro.
That's what I'm talking about. Dude, I'll sell you this one, Ryan.
No way, dude. I need a top. And I got one now almost.
Yeah, you're almost there. Well, what are you printing that top in four pieces?
Whatever it takes.
Nice.
I don't have as big a print bed as you, so I've had to cut extra.
Yeah.
But it's saving me filament anyway. But it's not going to save me time. But there's so much finishing on this Scout, it doesn't make a difference. Hardly.
Bro. You need to buy yourself a Creality, man. Mine went together pretty easy.
I'm gonna buzz it with my Porter cable first. Dude, for real. I'm telling you, I already know I'm gonna expose infill. I don't care.
Francis says he might be back. I bet if I said I'd sell my Prometheus P2 that's upstairs, he'd probably be right back.
There you go.
Dude, I'll tell you what, man.
I gotta remember to get with Ty on whatever I'm going to get rid of. I actually hate to say it, but I thought I might sell Willie's wagon. Those are awesome kit-built base camps, straight axle, 2-in-1s. That's got a reef servo in it.
Dude, I've got I've got I had two. I got one Blazer 110 scale. Yeah,
I thought
no,
about
those aren't.
selling the Land Rover, but it's the first one, so I don't think so.
Well, Pete's got my first one. It's gone.
Maybe I will then. But
Right.
it's nice, man. They're nice. We are kind of on the 6 scale train.
What are those? What are the Jiminy's? Are they one? Are they considered 1/6?
They FMS calls it 1/6, but it's a 10th scale, dude.
Dude, I'm sorry, I'm talking to you, but I'm walking and talking. I'm getting my Blazer, other Blazer body down. That
The Jimny is like a 13-inch wheelbase when everything else is like what 12.5, 12.7, 12.3 or something.
Broseph. Dude, look at this one, boys.
Is that the little one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's the little one I did.
It's bad to the bone, dude. And that's perfectly sized for the FMS Jimny chassis, right?
Yep. Comes all the lights and everything.
So that's a 13-ish wheelbase. I wonder if the Gladiator chassis from Axial would work. I know the floor's not right for it.
That Gladiator, though, everything's up front, right?
Probably.
Well, you know, a good way for me to tell is I could take my 10.3, my Jeep. Everything's up front on it.
The Gladiator is what's the wheelbase on that Gladiator?
I don't know.
Remember, I was talking about getting those chassis rails and trying them on one of these base camps.
Yep. I
KW
sure do.
said he's got 20 SCX 24s, bro. What? I want to get an SCX 24 just to figure out how to mount the body. I'd love to just, bro, you print one of those bodies in one shot. I'd love to sell those hand over fist.
Dude, you know what, though? I really wouldn't want to mess with printing out bodies for those because they're so small. I
just want to sell them because you could print 2 on one damn plate.
Yeah, no kidding.
18 scale too, those Traxxas dogs. I just need to have one of each so I can figure out how they fit.
I don't know. I can't, for some reason, I cannot get into the 1/24th.
Oh, I don't want nothing to do with them. I just want to sell the bot. I'm not here to make money, folks. I'm just here to sell guns. That used to be an ad from a guy in Indianapolis around here.
Oh, really?
Dude, he had a G store, and that was his deal, bro. He was crazy. I mean, he was like pew pew, like total car salesman looking dude. And that was his tagline in the ads.
Like old Ed Pinkley Motors.
Dude, it was pretty good, actually. Adios, RC Amigos. Is RC Amigos in here? Was he? Did I miss him?
I think that was Fred saying adios.
Oh, I gotcha.
I think he was Bolton.
Michael Bolton?
He was Michael Bolton.
Because there's a channel called RC Amigos.
Gotcha.
I got it. RC
Dude,
Amigos,
you know what? You got me wondering now if that Jeep chassis would fit on this body.
I'm about to look it up right now. Wheelbase on the Gladiator. Hold on. Because I was thinking about getting those chassis rails one time. I remember.
Dude, I'm actually. I would get rid of this 10.3.
Yep, Don. That's it. Craig.
Wide max.
Custom kit built 10.3.
Backing it up a little bit.
Axial Gladiator. Whew.
Man, this thing has seen better days. This dude spent a lot of time in the water recently. No, not even close, Ryan. Look at that.
You got to cut out a ton of stuff. Well, yeah, look at that bumper. You got that big stinger.
But even the wheelbase.
Here's how you tell. Set your truck upside down and then set the chassis on it, the body on it.
It just looks.
Chassis upside down. You know what I'm saying? Wheelbase 13.9 on a Gladiator. You got so much crap on there, you can't even set it upside down.
I know. That's why I like them.
How's it do?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. That's not that's not bad at all.
It's pretty much spot on.
Bro, it's right on. I mean, you could maybe stretch the links a couple turns.
I don't think I'd need to. I think it'd be right there. Yeah, I need to take some stuff off of this.
Yeah, you get rid of the inner fenders and the tire and the stinger, then you know the truth.
Actually,
you'll have to cut something.
I don't think I'd have to get rid of. I gotta get rid of the receiver box. That would have to move for sure. Yeah, I gotta get rid of both these up front. But yeah, dude, this thing would actually fit perfect on there.
That's
project.
Awesome.
Project.
There you go. Like you needed another one,
right? Dude, I remember when this was like the bad to the bone truck for me.
It still is.
And now it's like blah. Good times. Well, I'll do this later. Now. Not now.
Did you see that little full flex, full squish post I did today?
Yeah, I saw Horizon commented on it.
Bro, dude, they had Heavy D on their Father's Day ad. Did you see that?
I did not. Heavy D.
It's got about 800, about 900 views on it. That little deal.
Dude, I wish Heavy D'd come at me, man, for this Blazer body.
Dude, I'll make him whatever he wants.
I'd work it out. Work it out with him.
It was cool. He did like talking heads in the Horizon ad for Father's Day, dude. It was cool.
That's crazy.
He had his kids running rigs. Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't realize he was an RC guy.
Yeah, man. For engineering, flight sim tests, etc., management, terabytes of videos, stills, and major storage and catalog data. Any computer, dude. Just get external hard drives for some of that. The videos are what eats it up. Picture's not as bad. But software to run systems for sure eats it up.
Yeah, computers, when you start getting into a lot of RAM and got the right graphics package to run all this engineering stuff, man, it gets expensive.
Whoa. The 6x6 frame extenders from the old Axial 6x6
with RC 4-wheel drive leaf springs. Sweet.
We got to start our own page because I want to see it. Like, you know what I mean? Post it up. We just got to figure out what to name it. That's all. Regis and Kelly.
Yeah.
Regis and Kelly RC.
Wonder how far that would go.
Pilot Regis.
Before somebody stops us.
Let him.
Dude, I had
Ray-Ban girl hit me again.
Yeah, no kidding. I had water coming out of that Jeep.
I guarantee I can squeeze the tires and still get water out of the Chevy.
Dude, that was back when Brad and his buddy went with us out.
They thrashed that stuff, bro.
Dude, he had that Jeep like submerged in like 2 foot of water. I'm like,
submarine.
Bro, yeah, go grab it, drain the water out of it, and keep driving. I was impressed.
I hate to vent the tires on my crawlers the same way I would a basher, but it's not an awful idea if you're going to get them wet a lot. Then you still got to take the tire off to spin it out fast enough to throw the water.
Dude, I wound up doing your trick, you and Kirk. I wound up making another set of jacks, and I put both of these trucks up on jacks. Because
bro, you see those ones I'm using for the 6s?
Yeah. They're gigantic. That's what I printed off, was ones like that.
Yeah,
they're great
together.
Yeah.
I want to shrink them down for my 10 scale stuff. Those are so good.
Yeah, because when we come back and we got any kind of water inside these things, it's bad juju.
I just don't like flat spots, man. And if you leave these things sit, especially wet, they're going to get them.
Doom, 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 doom.
Yeah.
Down the road.
We actually can tell because we run second gear. So if you've got a flat or a wobble,
you know it.
You know it. Clap your hands.
You know it.
That's what's on the bench.
Yep. And then our 3D printed bodies are falling apart.
Right.
Vibration. Yeah.
My Ford still has it all beat on departure angle right now.
Ain't nothing wrong with that Ford. That's a good body.
Bro, that is fun.
I would put that up against my bug truck. I bet my bug truck, my black one or the brown one, I bet they would probably fail come up against that Ford. On side hill action?
Yeah. I mean, look at the arches. Look, there's nothing on the front.
There's nothing to it.
Very little on the back.
There's no weight.
And I'm skinny.
There's no weight except for the pizza can you got in the back.
It's all tires, dude, on that rig. You can't miss. You know, some stuff you got to cheat and come at it sideways to get a tire on it because your front end will get in the way.
Yep. Not that.
Not very much of that on that thing. It's all tires. They stick out pretty severely. But
bro, I'm almost there with. Actually, I am there with the Scout. If I took that front bumper off, my tires are sticking out.
That one's gonna be good. Yeah, the Scout's gonna have a really good departure and approach.
Yep.
Now the body's wide, but that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, but bro, these Mickey Thompsons, dude, they're so big underneath this thing. That'd be perfect. Perfect.
I think the Honcho tires will be what's on my Scout. Probably these white rims that are on the Travelall. Those caps are hot glued on. I can get them off, but I'm leaving them. My Chevy, I can easily change the tires. I put the methods back on that Chevy in a hurry.
That Snowstar, it's got some type of a hubcap on it, doesn't it? The real one?
Well, by the time, not Grandpa's didn't have nothing left but the Steelies, but originally it would have had like a little moon, kind of shiny center.
So we need to figure out where we can get some smaller moons. You know what I'm saying? Because I thought at one point
Red Bull.
that maybe Red Bull would be smaller, but I don't think they are they? I think they're the same size.
Nah, man, they're skinnier can than a regular old soda.
Dude, I need to look and see if I got one. I don't. Well, then that's what we need to do is I need to buy some Red Bulls and drain them out into the drain and cut the bottom out of them because I don't drink that crap.
Francis, man, I've been at videos forever. So what happens, I'll have a ton of raw footage that I make into, an edited piece. And because of storage, I throw away all the raw footage when I'm done. And so the real video, the edited artifact goes on YouTube, and I keep the MP4. But I get rid of the raw stuff because I'm like, I've already cut through it once, so I don't need it. And I'll keep it until it's a problem. Then when I got a problem, memory storage, I'll go through and throw away a bunch of raw files. But I have an external hard drive that I keep the MP4s on and stuff when I'm done. So I've been at it a minute, man. I've not ever needed to get back into the raw files. And if I had to, I got the MP4 and I can also download it off of YouTube as well. Now I'll lose resolution off of YouTube download, but if I have the raw MP4, I can get back in there. I've actually thought about doing that with some videos, recut them shorter, re-release them. The airplane stuff, I was doing it in the format I thought everybody wanted, but sometimes I want to revisit it and do it a little bit more like I'm doing the new ones. But it's a little bit, I definitely, if I don't have the raw file or any file of the build, there's not a lot I can do there except drop in pictures or manual illustrations. Man, we got to come up with a Facebook group name for this, Kelly, because I got RC Pilots Lounge for the airplane guys. That's covered.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. We need to get it started for sure.
We just got to come up with a name. Dude, Kelly he tagged me in that RC 3D printed RC deal the other day. And I thought he went ahead and named a group and started one. And I wrote back and I was like, man, you're going to get everything with a name like that, which is fine. You're going to get everything. And I wondered a little bit if we need to stay focused on niche it down a little bit to what we're doing. And then I looked at the group and it had like 60,000 followers. I was like, wow, Kelly, what do I know? Good job. And I realized that's been a group that's been around for a while. He didn't start it at all. Just tagged me in something. But man, that's a strong group. That's a good group. It is a lot of everything, but a ton of what we do is in that group, which is nice.
Absolutely.
I just think we need to come up with something that's. It's always tough names, right? I really deliberate forever about that kind of thing because you're generally stuck with it in a way afterwards. And I mean, you can edit them and change them, but you don't want to if you don't have to. Mm-hmm. So it's got to somehow say so much in as few words as possible as to who you are and what you're doing.
Yep.
And RC Pilots Lounge worked out really good because that was the name of the live stream. And it said RC Pilots and it also said lounge, which connotates hanging out. It, in a way, was an open invitation to whoever RC pilot wants to hang out. And man, I don't do that. Group runs itself. I don't do much with it at all. But every now and then, you know, approve a bunch of folks. Every now and then kick out some turkey. But that thing runs itself. And it's active. It's like 2,000 people or something, I think, in that one. But I don't post any truck stuff in it because it's not the audience for it.
Yeah. Yep.
But I feel like if you do it right, you hit a home run on two accounts. The name of whatever this show ends up being that says what it is. And then you have a group that is, in a way, a supplement to the live stream and also an open invitation for those in the community doing the same thing who want to share and learn from each other.
Yep. 100%.
And we can spam our own stuff in it all day long and no one's going to say anything.
Yep. I've been a little hesitant on, you know, posting too much stuff out there on some of these, you know, groups because I don't want to come in too hot and strong and go, hey, look at what I'm doing here. Look at this. You know, you kind of want to sometimes they like to have that soft start. You know, you walk in and go, hey guys,
yeah,
I'm new to the group. How the heck are you? Blah, 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 and hang out. And
it's amazing how the approach really makes a difference. You know, if you can tell, it's so weird how you can hear a voice when you're only reading the words of a post or anything, a comment. And yeah, if you're, hey, look at me, that's definitely put offish, you know, that people bristle up.
Yep.
But it's just all the angle. I mean, the same thing, just said differently. The sharing, you know, or community of it all. I was telling you this, I'll post to my page, my Facebook, and then share from there. A lot of times, instead of just posting directly in a group, especially with like reels or little videos. But I think it's easier with pictures. But the minute you start plugging, if I'm doing YouTube or any YouTube video, I definitely try to come at it really community first. And then after the value of the share, I'll circle back and touch base, check it out here. And there's a link to it. And I don't really keep close tabs on those groups, whether they share it or not. I only share to like 3 truck groups. A lot of it's been SEX6 lately. And then there's RC builds and crawler. That's a little bit more, you know, everything 10 scale and 6 scale. But lately what we've been doing, I've just been all about a few 6 scale groups.
Yep. Same.
SEX6, whatever.
Yep.
And they seem to accept it. Like, I feel like it always gets approved. Especially when it's kind of Facebook centric. I think the minute even Facebook themselves, I don't know if you've noticed this, but like if you just post up natively through Facebook or pictures or video natively through Facebook, it's going to see more eyes than if you post up an external link, because Facebook is designed to keep you on Facebook, just like YouTube is designed to keep you on YouTube.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. KW79, if you want, hit me up on Facebook, my KKRC76 Facebook, and we can Ryan and I'll connect with you and we can share photos and videos and check stuff out.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's got quite the quite the garage, man, of toys.
Man, for real. And when your Blazer went nuts on that Horizon post, Pete's Blazer you made for him.
Yep.
Yeah, you can tell who knows what's going on and who just like wants a 6-scale body for $200. And
yep,
you can tell. It's same way with the airplane stuff. There's like a vocabulary or something. Like you can tell folks know if they do it too. And
yep,
he does for sure.
Well, and the guys like him and us, you know, Kirk, our group, you know, we know what's involved, you know, on making one of these and making it actually look pretty decent. It's a ton of time.
Yep.
Ton of work.
It's super rewarding though, isn't it?
Yeah,
man?
the reward is awesome. You know what I love more than anything? When we're out in the park cruising along and we come up to a guy and his son with their dog out for a walk, and they're like foaming at the mouth, even the dog. They're like, man, this is cool. Where'd you get this, man? It's like,
we made it.
What? Yeah, it's like, man, we 3D printed these and, you know, painted them and did all this stuff, and they're blown away.
You can see it on their face where they're thinking, man, these guys have, and I've spoke to it a little bit before they have a chance to ask, because I don't know. I take a read, but I've even said we're printing these off with regular old consumer grade 3D printers. There's nothing fancy. These are coming off in pieces, and we're modeling.
Yep, modeling.
We're modeling to make them work, and then figure out how to attach them.
We are true hobbyists.
Yeah. What's up, J-Man?
J-Man. How are you? Yep, true hobbyists, man. We are in it. When you start doing stuff like this, I'm sorry, but I mean, you can't get much deeper into the hobby than where we're at with doing this type of thing right here.
J-Man's working it out, man. That's awesome. He said he just got a TRX4M body printed. He's been showing up, man, and asking the right questions. You know, sweet,
awesome.
That is
fantastic.
Awesome.
So
there's nothing like having your own thing out there. Kelly, how pumped was I to have that green Chevy finally out?
Yeah, you were like a kid in a candy shop, man.
Bro, and at that place at France Park,
yeah.
That video has a million views, but it's okay. It's still number 2.
It's not Blazer, bro. Come on.
Well, you know, the one with your bug truck and the travel all went to 4,000 real quick.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Still the ranking number 1.
Yeah.
So this thing's sitting at 900 views or whatever is number 2, but it's still far behind that.
Yeah. Because your surface stuff has never done as good as your air, and
air did good because it was always new releases.
Right. Yeah. But for 4,000 views on that one, dude, that's fantastic.
And some of the other ones not too bad for what it is. It's pretty niche, man.
Yeah, sweet. J-Man, I'm glad that calibration worked and you're up and printing and rolling, bro. That's awesome.
Let's go. Yeah, did you print it off in one shot, the body for the TRX4M, or did you have to do multiple pieces?
Put on 4S. Heck yeah, dude. We've been talking about that.
KW, thanks for coming by, man. You are welcome. Thank you. I'll be here every week.
Awesome. Yeah, KW79 sounds good. Hit me up on Facebook. Me and Ryan.
Yeah,
find us.
We're seeing what each other's up to, and that's cool. And as soon as there's as soon as we come up with a group name, bro,
yep,
blast it.
Absolutely.
Blast it. You're all invited. Is it come up with a name, bro? Because I don't want to do it more than one. Dude,
I know, dude.
I've told this story before, but after we left Motion, I rebranded RC Air Training Command Pilot Ryan, Captain Mike RC, because everybody knew us. So after 5 years, I wasn't sure that RC Air Training Command was still going to carry any weight when we were already branded as Pilot Ryan and Captain Mike. So I changed the name, paid a designer, worked with the designer, logo, the whole thing, changed the name of the channel. And Mike just, he could have cared less. So it was like, I think because of that, I don't know, I'm gun shy on names. Not that I think that's going to happen, but it's
right.
Bro, I paid a designer, dude, like hundreds of dollars.
Yep.
And for no good reason at all. I had merch, the whole stupid deal.
Yep.
And for nothing. So
I get it. Yep.
It was a few pieces, but the seams were in the right spots. That's what's up. Panel lines on doors and stuff. The group where the elite meet to eat meat. Basically a front cab and a back bed, then a hood and a trunk and a grill. Okay. Nice.
Sweet.
Good job. You're probably able to keep a lot of fidelity that way and make less work on the lines of it all.
No, yeah, that's great. It's awesome.
Don't let me line shame you either, because just because I'm nuts.
You are a little extreme with it, but you know what? You're doing your thing, and that's who you are, and that's what you want as a representation of your work. And you know what? Like I would rather have something that is glossy as can be, shows some lines here and there, and go out in the woods and beat it up and trash it and get pissed.
You know what? It's a free country where, people are allowed to go about things wrong if they want to.
We all have our preferences.
I'm just kidding. Hey, you got more options than I do because I take too damn long.
Well, I don't know. I just get in a roll and a mood and roll, like Sunday and Monday, I spent time on both days working on this.
I have to emotionally prepare myself for the sanding I'm going to do. Like, I got to change clothes. I need to be able to spend a few hours outside. I need some time, some peace.
Yep.
And once I get going,
then you're in it. You're in it to win it.
Once I get moving, I'll be sanding before the paint's dry.
Yep. And honestly, one of my favorite things is wet sanding. I'll take this body downstairs, put it on my slop sink, turn the water on, and just go to town. I love wet sanding.
Wet sanding is so, bro. When you hear it get quiet and super smooth. So good. Yep. I'm getting ready to install this. I've been mudding the walls and stuff. I'm getting ready to install this big deep sink. I'm pumped about it.
Get out of the shower, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I will never wet sand in the shower.
You gotta stop doing that, man.
I'll never do it again.
Yeah, probably not gonna get crazy.
I had to, man. It was wintertime. I couldn't do it outside when I did that one.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Thanks, Jay, man. Yeah, dude, to each their own for sure. Yep. And we're new at it. We don't have anything in a way but ourselves and what we've discovered since we started as a point of reference. Nobody, you set the rules. So there's and I tell you, I would not want to sand on a little tiny one probably. But you know, it's neat the way you do orient things. You can make it where there's not a lot. And I'll say this again, on the first one I built, Kelly did the print on the Land Rover 10 scale that was my first build. I didn't print it. I just put it together. And the Rover had so many squared off and flat sides that every piece looked great. You know, when you got round stuff, the print lines start to have to accommodate the radius and things stretch out. And it looks more like a contour map. But when it's square bodies and, you know, Land Rovers and straight stuff, even the Scout to a degree, you've got way less of that. Team that with the way you decide to orient the print. And if you go multiple pieces, you really have a lot you can do. You are able to create way less work for yourself. On the Rover, bro, it came off so nice the way you printed the pieces. And it was my first one. And I was like, I'll be damned. There's no way I'm sanding this. And I didn't need to. It looked so good. And I hit it with a bunch of flat paint and matte paint and dark. And so whatever little there was hid very well. So somebody who doesn't want to mess with all that sanding and finish work, spend that money on that heavy build automotive primer, and you can eliminate a lot of that.
Yep. And we all have different finishing techniques. That's cool, you know, because we like Ryan said earlier, we all just feed off other. We all learn from each other, and we share our, you know, our shortcuts or what works best for us. And you gotta be willing to try it. You gotta be willing to try other things because, man, there's a lot of really nice, easy ways to get where we're going on this.
And there's a lot of people making cool stuff out there. I think it's all super inspiring, and seeing somebody do it or seeing what can be done. I think we've let loose a few guys that even already had printers to like, bro, I don't need to go this big, but man, I can do this thing or that thing, and go, baby. And I love how we're putting our videos together where, you know, I was talking to you about this before, like more than just a running video, I think telling the story a little bit about the process is super interesting.
Absolutely.
I think it adds a lot to the video, even if you're not into making this stuff. One thing I want to start doing is, because we keep calling these 6 scale. They may not be. We can do the math on the real one and figure out what.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, that Chevy may not be 6 scale. The Tremors truck may not be 6 scale. The Scout.
They're all different. They're all different.
Jay, man, great question. We've covered this, and we'll cover it till the end of time, and that's okay. The center of the arches, where do you think the axles are going to be? Because the one major determining factor to eliminate the guesswork is the wheelbase of whatever vehicle it is you're making the body for. So if you know your TRX 4M has X wheelbase, then whatever body you're messing with, you can plot a point, cut off the front, cut off the rear, plot a point at the center of the arches where you want your axles to lay, and adjust till you get to that factory spec on wheelbase. And then whatever number that ends up being, you apply to everything from the windshield wipers to the license plate to the bumper to the door handles to the doors to the roof to the whatever. Kelly just showed us again here in the stream earlier how he does that, and it's pretty slick. And it really
go back,
kind of guesswork out. So after the first time you've done it, and I got close on the Travelall, but I had to spin out my links because we didn't have it down yet, maybe to a science, a little more guess. But since then, we've been pretty right on. I printed off one side of that Ford wrong. Too big.
Yeah.
The first time. And that's why I just printed off the left side first, because if I was going to be wrong, I don't want to waste a whole one.
Right.
But Kelly's method will get you right on the money from the get-go.
The first
It makes a lot of sense.
The first big Land Rover I printed out for the SCX6, I printed that damn one half side like I think 3 or 4 times before I got pretty close.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 of them that are pretty close. And then now, since I figured out how to get this scale figured out quick, now I went back and actually scaled it. So, and it needed to be a little bit bigger, but not much. I wasn't too far off. But J-Man, yeah, you go back 35, 40 minutes in this show from here. You find me on the computer screen, and I walk you through how to do it and what I use software wise, which is free, to go out and do it.
I think his way visually makes a lot more sense. I did it basically the same, but a little different with my Bamboo software. Instead of cutting it and having a test plug that's way easy to look at and see and scale the whole thing, I was plotting points. I was leaving the front and the back on and making a point on the center of the arch, just eyeballing it. And on the front and the rear, and then scaling it up. So basically, very similar ways to get there. And the first time I did that was on the little Travelall, and I got it. I had a lot I had to do to get this right, but and that was a team effort there too, where I had half of it already. Kelly had printed. But yeah, man, once you get that wheelbase to match, you're good.
And like my VW Bug body, that thing, I've said it a couple times on this show, and I'm saying it again. I did this exact same thing to that I do with the rest of these, and it took me 3 tries to get it right. They said math don't lie. I call BS. It does lie. I did everything, and Ryan knows. Now with this formula, the way that I do it, I don't even question it with most of these vehicles. I just start printing. I'm like, get me 5 rolls of filament. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's a 12-hour print. Who cares?
And sometimes we're doing our own thing, and then other times, by the time I got to the Chevy, Kelly and Kirk both had one already. And so I already knew I was going to cut the arches. So their scale numbers for that worked fine for me right away. It was 134, I think is what I did, 134 even.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fine.
Yep.
So when something exists already, same thing with the Scout. Like, I probably could have left it alone, but I did it just a tick bigger on your math on 507. And I'll make it work. I haven't seen that yet, how it's going to be, but I got one kind of short one and one kind of longer chassis. Because I spun the links out and in. But Andre, I'm going to write it down. My favorite files come from this guy. You can find him everywhere, but I go to Colts 3D for it. And he's got quite a selection of stuff. That guy right there on Colts 3D. I dig his files, and the stuff that you guys hear me complain about the faceted surfaces. I don't get it on his. And if they're there, they're so small, even once I blow it up, that it blows my mind now that we've done a few, because that Travelall didn't have them, man, at all. Even the big one.
Yep. No, I do. I like his files, and the Blazer is from him too.
And it's dialed,
So,
no
yep.
facets.
Yep. No, there's no surprises with his
And
stuff.
if you're on the small scale, you're not going to hardly see the facets. But my thing is this: when I'm shopping now with the Scout, Kelly already had it, and we're like going to kind of don't call it a build off, do them together. So, okay, fine. But like, if I ever see facets, if I'm looking at the thumbnails and the pictures of the dude's work and the files, if I see those facets, and do you know what I mean by that, Jay, man? I'll show you. If I see them, I'm not buying it usually. But see how the arch is made up of a handful of little facets and squares, and the radius up to the hood has not just print lines, but like the radial facets to accommodate the shape. It can be finished, it can be worked, and they can look good. And Kelly's proven it. But I tend to stay away from it if I have an option.
Yep.
These aren't too bad, but they're there. And knowing me, I some guys won't care, but like, I want to finish it out, and so I know it's a S ton of work for me.
Yep, for sure. And I'm looking at mine, and they're pretty much gone.
You got them worked out.
Yeah, well, after doing, like I said, after doing a couple of the VW front ends, this here was like nothing.
It's easier to work the square stuff, isn't it?
Oh, so much easier.
Stuff.
So much easier.
Know, in these lines that you're seeing here.
Yep, right above the bumper. Yep.
You're gonna have that somewhere. And if this is, it makes sense to print this piece like this, right? Because if you printed it like this,
right,
all these lines that you see here on the front, all that weird stuff, chatter, topographical map business, if I didn't print it like this, and I printed it like this, you would see that stuff here too.
Yep.
It wouldn't be here, but it would be here. So sometimes you can put your finished work where you'll want, is what I'm saying. But when you're getting this big, you've got to think about the plate you're printing on and stuff. So some of the smaller stuff, it doesn't matter, man. Orient it the best you can to optimize the least amount of finish work. For me and Kelly, we're trying to get glue joints good and fit it on the plate and not have to split it to a million pieces. You know, I mean, this is big, dude. That's half of it.
Yeah, they're big pieces. And you know, the big thing is too, Ryan and I both a lot of times will print things differently, just because I'd rather, you know, waste more filament and have less finish work on the back end. A lot of times he'll do things, you know, and go a cheaper route and lay things a certain way that, you know, it's going to require him to do a little more elbow work on the part, but he's good with that, you know. So we all kind of have our own way of where we want to end up at on finish wise too.
And I'm also getting to the point too where I'll concede some of that defeat and print a bigger piece and waste the filament. Or like earlier in the show, One half of that hood I printed with the standard supports, and it cost me $15 and
Right.
seven
The other one was 7 something.
bunch of hours. And then the other one I did trees. I saved like $8 and 2 hours of time or something.
Yep.
So there's that also. But the print bed size limited me on being able to do the roof and the doors together.
Yep.
I was going to have to cut it. The physical limitations were just a sliver, right? But I'm not going to just do a sliver. So I cut it below the window framing, so there was something on top and bottom to make it solid.
Even it out. Yep.
Yeah.
Balance it out. Yep.
Yeah, dude, where's that? Hold on. So the only thing I had to really slice off this to fit on the plate was a little bit off the top of the roof or a little bit off the bottom of the door. But I decided to cut it down here.
Yep.
So the window frame has got a bottom piece to fit on the door.
Yeah. It's got some kind of
sliver.
It's supporting itself. Yeah. It's got some strength to it.
Yeah, a little bit more of a glue joint and wider than a sliver. And also because I printed the doors the way I did without the roof on there, I printed them both at once because I didn't take up all the space like this does.
Right.
And if I printed this with the door, I would have had the thickness of the door and this support material going to waste. So I printed it like
probably stand up.
I'm trying to think. It was like this. I did it like this.
Yeah. And
I did it like this. So all it had to support going up was this.
In the center. Yep. That in there.
And just a little bit there.
Yep. And I do that too, Ryan. I'll slice something and go, okay, cool. I can take and actually turn this up, stand it on end. It's going to be less supports, and I can put the other half on there too. Perfect. And if I have room, I'll throw something else on there. I don't care if it's a bumper or a seat, whatever it is. If I got enough room to snake it in, I will.
I used to do that. I think when I printed the Travelall, I got spooked.
Oh,
and so I tend to just let it do what it's doing. Now with those doors, I did do them both at once because, bro, there was nothing to them. It was. I mean, that's, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I had all kinds of space on the print bed still. But I was like, I'll print these two together. Normally, it would have been attached to some other stuff. But like I said, I either was going to have to slice off the top or slice off this already thin bit that I am going to have to reinforce.
Yep. I'm going to do the same on mine.
And I've done that a couple times. My 54 Chevy, the windows right above the door handle.
Yeah, you sliced it there.
Were their own piece.
Yep. Yeah, I remember you telling me that. And like when I did mine, my Scout, I did the whole door and then half the frame, the windshield frame.
Yes.
And that whole thing all in one piece, which used more support, but
you weren't doing a roof.
No. So I did mine in 6 pieces. The body's done in six chunks.
Nice. And that's, a big print bed comes in handy. And then also he wasn't doing the roof. So you didn't have to accommodate any of that.
Yep.
I was running out of room height and borderline the plate.
I get it.
Yeah. So
I get it.
pretty interesting.
Nice. Well, dude, I'll tell you what, brother. I am running out of steam over here, and it's been a long day. I got one more long one tomorrow, so I'm ready to bust out. I don't know if you're gonna stay or if you want to bust out, but I'm gonna probably bounce.
I'll stay for a few minutes and then I'll get out of here. I'll stay for
Yeah.
5. Last minute stuff for Kelly. Check him out. KK76 RC. Links in the Discord to his channel. Follow us on Facebook as well. That way you can, I think it lets you know when we post at other groups and pages if you're into what we're up to. And then eventually we'll come up with our own once we can get a name for it. What's up, Jackson?
Yeah.
Anything for Kelly real quick before he gets out of here?
J-Man, thanks, man. Peace to you. And Francis, have a good one. Jackson RC Aviation. Man, all you guys, thanks for coming in tonight and hanging out with us.
I don't even know, awesome. J-Man, on that.
What's he asking about?
I see an option for putting texture on the last layer. What does that look like? Try it and let us know, bro.
Dude, yeah. Yeah, for once, somebody else be the first guy out.
Yeah,
I'm usually always the first one to go. Hey guys, don't do this way because I did, and it'll screw it all up.
Yeah, he's got a truck. It's dimpled like a golf ball, and another one the other way like a basketball.
That's right. All right, cool guys.
Kelly,
all right,
see you
it's
later,
been real.
Brother.
Peace. I'm out. Catch you later.
Your fault.
Have a good night, guys.
See you later, man. All right. Fun times. Yeah, I could tell he had the Linden lean going. He's about to slump in the chair. His day starts early. Earlier than mine does. I think mine goes longer is the deal. Urban, I will get with you I'll send you some pics. And you're on tomorrow, aren't you? Yeah, I'll try to get you some pics. I'd like to sell a couple. I don't really want to sell them, but I'm not going to run them. Not with the stuff I'm doing now and new and building my own bodies. I just won't. So I'll feed you some pictures, Instagram style. Yeah. And that way I can buy some more stuff to make more stuff, which will be fantastic. I saw a video today of somebody, you guys that are into this, check out that 3D printed RC or 3D printing RC Facebook group. Hold on. I think that's what it's called. I saw a four-wheeler on there today ripping it, and man, it looked cool. 3D printing RC is the name of the Facebook group, and it's pretty cool. There's people making all kinds of neat stuff and sharing it out. And it's got like 60,000 people on that group or something. Really neat. We're there now too. And I invite you to check that out. But you never know what you're going to see. I saw that ATV, 4x4 quad thing, and it looked really cool. It looked really cool. Right now I'm watching a real Scout with some Patagonias in Moab. Looking awesome. Yeah, I'm glad he got the Scout going. I'm not sure I would have popped on it. Like I said, I'm weird about the facets, but I'm glad he's doing it. Yeah, I'm going to do mine yellow and white and rust. Wandering Truckers. Wandering Truckers. The name thing is tough. It's gotta. I don't know if I'll ever come up with one again as good as RC Pilots Lounge. I think that was good, if I do say so myself, I guess. But yeah, that group is going strong. And the name says it all, man. It's just perfect. It's like an invitation and all the things at once. So it'll hit me. Too much work and fun in a day, I'm telling you. Yeah, the last few days I was out of town, so I actually had decent bedtime because there was nothing for me to do. I mean, it was awesome. It was fun to be surrounded by family and such. However, gosh, I didn't have anything to get my hands on, you know? I didn't know Elegoo Rapid Plus is made to print faster. Let's see. I know Elegoo Rapid Plus is made to print faster, and they say it's a stronger PLA. I think I've used Rapid, but I've just did it at regular speed. I think the fidelity is going to be better when you slow it down. And I'm pretty happy with how quick this thing does it. I'm telling you, Bamboo makes me look like a pro right away. I really don't know what it's doing. I just tell it what to do and it does it. It's pretty killer. What kind of mounting system you come up with your 3D printed RCs? Man. There are files out there floating around already. Kelly uses it's kind of a clipless body situation. That was originally designed for SEX6s. And this is half of it. So you can see on the back there's cutouts and then screw holes. So there's another piece that looks just like this, except no clip. And you would sandwich it onto like the stock body posts or something. And then this cleat goes into behind the cross member where the bumper's bolted to. And so you're supposed to put it on with enough flex because it's just kind of bolted around the stock body post, where you could take a Wrangler or a Honcho and basically get rid of the body clips and use this to lift it off. And Kelly uses it that way and hinges the back of his bodies a lot of the time. I've used this as a hard mount where I don't want any play at all, and attach this or reset whatever to my body and hard mount it in behind the cross member and bolt my bed down in the back in the cross member of the stock chassis. And so once I pull 2 bolts, that's it. 2 bolts in the back, I can pull it off and get the whole thing off. And I make battery boxes out of wood that look like toolboxes in the back of these things. So I don't have to hinge my body off to change the battery, but 2 bolts and I can change the body. So normally if I do something like this, like I say, it's coming in and it's not going anywhere. And I'll also use these holes to zip tie this also to where the body pins were supposed to go. That's one way. And then if you watch my 54 Chevy video, I show you the piece I designed to allow me to mount the 54 Chevy body to the front and utilize the stock pin locations and create a way to hold it in. And it's very, in a way, similar to this, but way different. It keys in the front. I can lift it up by the bumper. It's bolted in the back. Same two holes that the F-250 uses. And I can lift it up by the front bumper. It's not going anywhere. And the battery change happens in the wooden box in the back. So that's how I've done it. And then I've with the it's been different every time. But my advice is, and with the Travelall, I reuse the interior of the Wrangler, because the interior of the Wrangler SEX6, the license plate housing business where the Lexan exterior body mounted to the interior Lexan piece is where the pins go, and then stock body clips. So on my big red Travelall, it's got the Wrangler interior mounted into my body, reinforced, and that already made it perfect dimensionally to fit where it needed to be. So once I got the back right with the back side of the license plate baloney, which is hidden in the Travelall, then I trimmed and cut and glued in the molded radiator bits that hold the pins for the stock Wrangler Rubicon SEX6 and put those where I needed them to be. So my advice is you can make it, but repurposing or utilizing stock mounts is, I don't mind having my big Travelall created from what's supposed to be small mount with 4 body clips like the original Wrangler was supposed to. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. And then my Wrangler, and then my Ford, the white and red one, and then the green Chevy, 2 bolts, and those bodies are off. And I don't have to take the bodies off, change the battery. So that's working out. And I repurposed what I had on the red Travelall, and then I used this, but not as it was intended for the Ford. And then I made my own thing that worked like this does, but looks completely different for the 54 Chevy. The 54 Chevy has this front grille, and then behind it was a whole plate that fits the contour of the shape of the front and keys in. But that's all it is. I added 2 pins to it to take the stock location on the chassis to pin in. And then I created a rectangle in that as well at the right height with negative cutout. Everything fits actually really amazing. So the front of the Chevy keys in, friction won't go anywhere. It's pinned in, and the rectangle that I integrated into that piece is bolted through the cross member as well, through the stock holes where the bumper would have been. So use what you have is my first recommendation. If you have like a TRX 4M, I would say repurpose the parts off of the original body and think about using them in your to make it mount. Or you can buy those pieces from Traxxas also and work them out into your method. And I would say method more than design, because so much of this is just like, you can design it, But when you already have the stuff to work with, you get to really see what you need. Sometimes it's the stock thing may be great, but there's nothing to attach it to in the cavity of the under the hood or whatever. Okay. So it's just problem solving. It's like, all right, I got the mount. Now I have to figure out how to get this mount to the body somehow. And on the Ford, this works perfectly to fit in between where the light bucket business is on the front. I mean, literally, it perfectly fits right in there. On the 54 Chevy, it's a big, round, open space. This wasn't going to work without having either blending it in with that stock grill piece or making something brand new. I'm going to show you real quick what I did on that. Oh, yeah, cool. So I got them right here, these pieces. And man, I don't know how to design very good at all, but I'm using Tinkercad, which is like the easiest drafting ever stuff. So this is the piece that fits behind the grill you see on the 54 Chevy, and you can see this contour. So, and these notches too. So this fits in behind that grill super well. But what do you do? How do you attach it? So Kelly ended up molding his stuff. He printed this into it, and it worked out for him. It wasn't going to work out for me. I already sized up, cut my arches and everything without this piece. And so when I put this piece in, it moved the whole truck up and screwed up my arches. So I had to create some negative space. And so you can see this is solid all the way across. And then this one, I created these cutouts in it so I could actually use it and fit over the chassis body pin receivers that are stock. Kelly took his off, but I wanted to use them. So this was my first attempt, and I put pins in it. I designed pins into it in a rectangle. And so the negative space cleared what was obstructing me. The pins went in the stock location holes, and the rectangle gives me something to add additional strength by bolting to the chassis. And then when I put the chassis on, it comes on, keys in, because this is mounted to the chassis by itself. Believe it or not, this is mounted to the chassis by itself. The whole body comes in, puzzle fits into this, screws down in the back, same holes as the Ford had, and it's not going anywhere. I can lift it up by the bumper. And then I noticed I needed a little bit more tweaking. And so I redesigned it a little better, bigger pins, a little bit more negative space, raised the rectangle up so I could get the body back down where I needed it to be. And so I made this one, and then I made it one more time just like this, but cut out this bottom lip here I didn't need. Bro, watch the 54 Chevy video because I show it. Yeah, I made it. This is what it started out to be. I threw in a couple tubes and a rectangle, my friend, and then some negative spaces to clear it. So the Chevy's put together now, but if you were to look at this piece in the Chevy, these cutouts, these negative spaces, the stock hardware fits fills those voids up perfectly. You can see the front of the pin receivers and everything. And what's amazing is this is the first one I did and it fit, but it needed to come down some. So I had to clearance out, make the rectangle not as thick, and raise it up is what ended up happening. But this is basically what I ended up with. The only difference is that, again, I was able to slice that off, didn't need it. But as crazy as this looks, it very much is doing the similar job of this. This thing, and it depends on the body you're doing. If you're doing square body Chevys or Fords, this is going to probably be able to be adapted to work. But that big round front end on that 54 Chevy, I mean, this is crazy. I didn't have anything to mount to. And I racked my brain over it. I'm like, how am I going to do this? And once I came up with this, I was tickled because not only am I mounting it down, but it's not going anywhere side to side either. And yeah, but I this fit the first time. It just wasn't ride height wise, it wasn't correct yet. So that's the stock one. And then 3 revisions, 1, 2, and the perfect one that's in it right now. So if I had to make another one of these for somebody, that I would just print that again. And one thing to think of too on the strength of it, I'm not trying to keep you guys, but I'm having a good time. You know, we all learn as we go. So you're going to be printing something like this. You're going to be inclined to want to print it like laying down or something like this. But the way the print lines go, if they're going this way, the print is weak on the stress bias. So I print these like this. So the lines are going across it perpendicular to the stress bias and makes this really strong because the lines are running this way instead of running this way, long ways where the stress is, and it'd break right off because it's only wherever it breaks at, it's only one adhesion line, so to say, layer line or a couple layer lines holding it all together. I have every line it took to make it this direction. It's like a bundle of sticks, right? It's hard to break a handful of sticks, but it's easy to break 1 or 2. Same deal. Super fun. And that's the thing about the printing. You can get it wrong, man. It's okay. Try something different next time. But I printed a few of these off just to have around because Kelly was driving my Ford and full throttle rear-ended one of his cars, and this broke at the glue joint. And maybe even at the clip before I printed it the correct way. But because I don't need to take the body off the Ford to change a battery, this is keyed in and zip tied. So even when the glue joint broke or this piece broke, I was still keyed in so good. And with the zip ties, it didn't matter that this was broke or that the bumper was broke. And it was only cracked, bro. Because there's no real extra space. I try to have it, especially the front end of a vehicle, like your bumper's basically right at the front end of the chassis and cross member. So there's not like a crumple zone. so to speak. You're right there on it, so it doesn't have anywhere to go. So it just cracks what's there instead of really crumpling it. I did crash the Travelall and crumple those inner fenders. Broke them up pretty good one time. And when I put it back together, just reinforced it. And with the way the infill was, I drilled holes and filled it with like epoxy and bamboo skewers and then squeezed it together and then glued it and finished and all that. So if I ever have to make repairs, when I make repairs, I take that opportunity to strengthen things. If I were doing the big travel all over again, I would not have done the hood separate from the front clip because I'd rather have it all one thing and just a glue joint down the middle of the hood, which is way stronger than what it is now, where the hood is just basically glued on there, but the front fenders and front clip are independent of the hood, except it's glued. And it would have been glued even if I printed it all together, but it would have been way more strong where it counted because the glue joint would have been right in the middle of the hood instead of the hood is just slapped on and glued, and we're relying on the fenders and the front bumper to do it all. So things you learn doing it. Yeah. And yeah, things too with and I didn't know what I was getting into. And because I did the small travel all a certain way, I applied that strategy to the big one, but it wasn't necessary. Like the inner fenders that I was able to keep the tub where the engine would have been, that I was able to keep on the big travel all because I printed the hood separate instead of all together. I had to cut so much out of that anyway to sit down over shock towers and stuff that it didn't make any sense. I didn't need the hood to open. Now, on the little one, I needed the hood to open because that's where the battery goes. But on the big one, no. So if I were doing it again, I would not have inner fenders at all on the that travel all. But on the little one, I was able to design my own piece that filled the contour and matched the angle of that and body pin it in. Yeah, the infill is like a X. It's like a honeycomb. It's like a bunch of little squares in it. And yeah, so when I had to glue the fenders back together, I took advantage of that and ran skewers in it and glued it up. And then I used the fabric tape that you would wrap like a hockey stick with or whatever, because it's fabric. And I laid it in the inside of the fenders and used material, that JB Weld plastic stuff, to stiffen it up as well. And honestly, it's in a video, I hit a hill. I was ripping and going way too fast, and then I hit a hill that didn't budge at all, and I broke the front. And it was just cracked. I still was driving it, no problem. And then I hit it again. The same spot, broke it worse. Still drove out of the woods though. So, not bad. Not bad. Yep, Tinkercad. I would say if you already know Fusion or other CAD, then Tinkercad would be elementary to you. Kindergarten. For me, a guy who has no CAD experience at all, I'm trying to learn Fusion. But when I mess around in Fusion, I get absolutely nowhere currently. So I can go into Tinkercad, and yeah, it's clumsy. It's not as precise, but I'm able to make what I need. And I use calipers and pull measurements off of whatever it is I'm trying to make something for. And like, thank you guys for still being here. I know it's late. When you hear me talk about stock body post positions and things, oh, this is cool. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. So this is the rear, but these are stock body pin locations, and of course the rear cross member. And this one happens to be the mechanism that's used on the Wrangler, which is different than the Honcho. The Honcho has that rear cage, and there's a couple shoulder bolts on the side that the back side hinges on. But the Wrangler, I'm using these. No, but I heard you talking about it last night, man, and I want to check it out, Ty. So the front has this very similar body pin deal. And so these, you can take them off, but I just use them. So Kelly doesn't have them on his, and he's using, you can see the cross member I'm talking about right there. So he's using this dude, and it's, you know, keys into this back of the cross member, right? But I don't always use that. So on the Chevy, I'm not sure this one's going to fit because I know I had to sand down a little bit. It kind of fits. So yeah, this will be cool to show you. Hold on. Oh, monster. On the Chevy, I have this front end as well. So it goes in there. You can see the rectangle is going to fit right here on the cross member. There's stock holes already for where the bumper went in. So pins in. And then bolts to the rectangle. So that keeps this in here really firm. The body keys into this, all this contour and groove that's in the bottom notch, and holds it. Like I said, I can pick it up by the front bumper, which is just glued on to the body. It's a scale. That's basically it. That's an extra one. So that's on the body right there, and all of that worked out really good. And you can see the cutouts where you can see the pins and those stock bits peeking through the negative. And I had to do that on this one to make it work. And this is just messing around, bro. And I think on the final one, I set the pins in a little bit deeper. And so that makes them a little stronger. And I got where I needed to be, you know, everywhere. Because then you put it in and you're like, okay, I'm off by this much. Then you go back in the software and you fix it by however much it was off. Pretty crazy. Joey M89, what's up? Welcome to the channel. Yeah, so this is going to be Tremors truck, big version. I'm pumped about it. Nowhere close to final, but the bed's sitting really low right now. About there. About there. And this will come up some. So it'll be all right. It'll be all right. And I only had to print it once because we were basically right on the wheelbase from the start. Yeah, it's going to be cool. I mean, it'll be a big version of this right there. But yeah, Ty's going to tell you guys some stuff. I'm going to try to get rid of some 10 scale crawlers so I can get a Cricut and do some other stuff. Get some more filament. You know, keep on keeping on. I do want to try those. These tires are like 7 inches, and the Rolarlo tires for their big crawler are like 5.7 or something. So you lose a half inch or so, a little more than half inch all the way around. What is it? It's not 5/8. I think it's 9/16, something like that. I did the math once. I forget. I slept since then. Guys, thanks so much for coming over. Always a pleasure having Kelly. Definitely worth it. We're having an absolute blast, man. Kurt, Kelly, Sean, and myself with these things. So check us out on social to see what we're up to in the meantime, between getting runs done and keep up with the progress. We're kind of doing an international scout build off, not officially build off right now. What I want to see that again real quick. Yeah, I can't wait to get to. I mean, I'm doing this pretty rough style. I can't wait to learn Fusion better because I think it's going to be fantastic. I think it's going to be fantastic because I like what we're doing with minimal. So I think it'll be really great. I can't wait. I have it on my computer. I just am having a hard time with it. Ty said, what's the name of that thing I need to check out, dude? He was talking about, oh yeah, Print Pal. Bro, I need to check that out for sure. Yeah, Joey, I'd like to try that because I'm using calipers and getting close, you know, and giving a little tolerance, you know, because I know it's not going to be perfect, and you want it to fit, not fit once and be so tight. So, yeah, those pins, they're not really structural on this, but more of an alignment thing. But it was so nice to have it aligned perfect, and then drill those holes, because that's what's doing the work. Really, is this rectangle. And man, you break it, you can glue it or print another one. It's awesome. Print Pal. Craig, see you later. Everybody, take care. Thanks for your time. Enjoy your weekend. Ty's on tomorrow night. Check out Urban Legend RC. And you know, all the rest of us that are making videos and streaming and such, come on by. we do the Real Flight Flying on Monday at Wild Bill's channel. Urban Legends on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Just Bashing It or is J-Man on tonight before me? I can't remember, but there's a lot going on. Come by Urban Legend RC though. It's a good time on that stream and you'll get an update. It's like the TV guide, man. He'll tell you when everybody's on. So have a good week. If you have not seen my big green 54 shit, Just Bashing It. If you haven't seen this big dog run yet, it was the last video I put up on the channel that's not a stream from a beautiful location. And I try to put as many pictures of the build process and some of that in the video as well. So it's not just a running video. It's also a little bit of a build log, abridged version though. It's not going to kill you on time. So check it out. Yeah, I end up staying on more than I mean to sometimes. Appreciate you guys. We're out of here in 5. Hanger Rats forever. We'll 3 you later. Go drive something, will you? You're too good to be forgotten. We'll see you next time. Get out there and make something, and then break something, and then fix something, and then print something. Bye now. Boom.